Hi, and welcome back to Let's Play Satisfactory. In the last episode, we set up the production of modular frames, and as you can see, they're slowly but steadily accumulating. This episode, we're going to do rotors, stators, engines, and we'll hopefully get to encased industrial beams. Checking our power grid, it says that we're at around half capacity right now, but we know that a lot of the machines on the lower floor are not actively running. When they're not actively running, because their output is full, uh, they're not drawing electricity from the grid. So if I had to guess, I would say we're probably getting pretty close to this 400 megawatt per hour capacity. But we'll keep going until the power turns off, and then we'll try to deal with that by expanding our coal input. So we know that stators need copper wire and steel pipes, and we're going to use the alternate recipe for rotors so that they will also require steel pipes and copper wire. So step one is going to be connecting our steel and copper resources to the bus. We can do that really easily. If we had iron rods. It's because this storage container is still full, even though they are being drawn upon. We know that right now the demand upstairs is less than our production downstairs. That's a good place to be in. Cables, copper wire. Before this episode, I was just on the experimental branch of this game. It's a version where they push out their updates first to have the community sort of bug check them. And today they just released a large update on the experimental version where the entire graphical engine was updated. And if you think this game looks great right now, like I do, man, you'll be blown away by the updated graphics with the new engine. It really takes everything to the next level. Alright, so we've got cable and copper wire connected to the bus. Go ahead and hook up the concrete and then our steel products, the beams and the pipes. may move that ramp up at a later date, just for the sake of cleanliness, tidiness. It's clipping the ramp just a tiny bit. Won't have any effect on the throughput, but it might trigger the OCD of anyone watching. Okay, there goes the concrete. Now we'll come over here to the far south end of the base and grab our steel beams and steel pipes. The pipes will be used for both the rotors and the stators. The beams we'll use to make encased industrial beams. Out of beams, fortunately. We can pick up more right here. So when you're placing belts like this, you want to really maximize the distance between your stackable poles. It's six foundations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then assuming the belts are level, are going to the same level of a pole, that'll give you a length of exactly 24, which is the maximum length that a belt can run without support. Now here's the tricky part. If we'd been thinking ahead, we would have put these to the nearest conveyor lifts, but that's something that we can address later, or maybe not. This is one workaround. So, excellent. Doesn't look too bad. All right. So everything that we've been producing on the lower floor is now connected to the belt and is being lifted up to the second floor, where we can turn those basic components into more complex components. Let's run over to our MAM, see what else we have to research. Now, between episodes, I researched a few of the other berries and nuts. Researching those just adds them to the object scanner, so you can locate them in the wild. There's no new technology associated with it. Mycelia. Big scanner bearing. Select the milestone. And I believe that when you unlock these tags for the object scanner, it doesn't actually send the pod. There's no delay. Yeah. Researching flowers gave us the color gun. It's a piece of equipment you make in the equipment workshop that you can use to color code various pieces of machinery like constructors. Potentially nice later in the game. You would just identify what a constructor or assembler is producing just by looking at it and seeing what color it is if you've color coded them all. Okay, so now we're going to set up engine production. Engines are something that you need literally thousands of. Each engine requires 2 rotors and 2 stators. Let's leave ourselves a fair amount of room to expand our production of modular frames, but try to align it. Okay. So, one assembler making a motor requires 10 rotors and 10 stators per minute. We're using the alternate rotor recipe. It's going to produce 9 rotors per minute. It requires 18 steel per minute and 60 wire per minute. Whereas the stators produce 6 per minute and require 18 and 60. Alright, so they require the same amount of materials, but the rotors will be produced at a rate of 9 per minute and the stators at a rate of 6 per minute. And we need 10 of each per minute to produce 5 engines per minute. So could do 3 assemblers producing rotors. That would give us 27 per minute, and 5 assemblers producing stators would give us 30 per minute. That'll almost be enough together to make, or to supply 3 assemblers producing motors for a total rate of 15 per minute. I think that's what we're going to go for. So 3 and 5 is 8. Let's line these up with our assemblers to the south. Grab a few more modular frames. I'm pretty confident that when we turn all of these assemblers on, our power will be overloaded. But we'll see where we're at. 4, 5, 6. All right. Stator, 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 and the rest of these will be rotors, using the alternate rotor recipe that we unlocked with our hard drive. I feel like the next stage, after we complete engines and encased industrial beams, will be a little bit, probably an episode on exploration to find a few new resources and other hard drives that we can use for alternate recipes. Okay. We need 2 more iron rods. Let's grab them off the belt here. Okay, let's think about this. We need steel pipes and copper wire. For all of these. Let's put a splitter here. Another here. And then a third here for these last two. Then, just to keep things easy, we'll put another splitter right here. And I'll put to the first three splitters. This might be too steep. It's also too steep. We can work with that though. Just move it over a little bit, offset them. Then we'll grab our conveyor lifts. Okay. Now we need some power. All right. We use lift Mark II. That's not ideal. We want lift Mark III. And just replace those by selecting lift Mark III and then mousing over. That will really increase the throughput. Now these 3 are all making rotors. These 5 are producing stators. So we'll have to come up with a balancer to compress the output of 5 assemblers into the 3 assemblers we'll have producing engines. And that's really not even necessary. I think we'll just combine them all into one belt. One belt can absolutely handle the output of all 5 of those. And we'll feed it into a splitter. There we go. Let's put down a merger. You really go through the beams quickly when you're setting up a bus. You don't need too many, so I'm just going to come up here and steal them. Rather than taking 2 minutes to run back down. Alright, that should do us. Alright, rotors are flowing to the engine assemblers. Merger, merger, merger. Oh, this one's too close. Too close. As good as it gets. And this one will output to the splitter. And there are our stators. We'll select the motor recipe. Put down a merger. Out of iron plates. and a storage container. All that's left is to power these. And the power's off. Okay, we have exceeded our capacity. That was expected. If I had to guess, I would say we're just over. So now the question is, do we set up encased industrial beams, or do we sort out the power? And I think we're going to go ahead and set up encased industrial beams, and then we can start with the power in the next episode. The next episode can be a power expansion / exploration episode. So let's look at what we need for encased industrial beams. Just 2 ingredients, steel beams and concrete. Could not be easier. We'll need a ton of encased industrial beams. They're used for heavy modular frames, and they're also the sole component in the Mark IV conveyor belts, which we should unlock before too long. And so for that reason, you'll really burn through the encased industrial beams. Since we don't really have another use for our concrete and steel beams right now, that shouldn't be a big issue. Just keeping in mind that we don't have a ton of production of steel beams, and each one requires 16 per minute. I think we'll limit ourselves to 3 assemblers producing encased industrial beams for the present. Let's just give ourselves plenty of room to expand. 1, 2, 3. Splitters. We'll need more belts. Pick up a few more plates and rods while we're here. We're going to need more beams, I think. So step 1 will be extending these 2 lanes of the bus. Alright, that should do us. Beams and concrete. Concrete on the 3rd down. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, good. Now we'll select the Mark III conveyor lift. Oh, need splitters. Now the lifts. And we need more belts, or more beams for belts. Okay. Doing a poor job of estimating my belt needs here. Now we'll just combine all three of these with a merger. Run back and grab 20 more belts. Put up a storage container. This will be temporary. We'll definitely want at least an industrial storage container full. We're short one plate and one run. Of course we are. Alright, now let's get some power over here. Alright, that's done. All that's left is to turn the power back on, and that's where we'll start the next episode. Before we wrap up, we'll just run back to the hub, check our research. Mycelia is complete. We've got a new unlock for fabric.
This mycelia can be used to create fabrics. The derived blueprint is now accessible in Hub Tier 1. Additionally, R&D has requested extra samples to determine the cause of an anomaly.
So we'll knock that out. It unlocked fabric. We've also got explosives and the Explorer. think if we're going to explore for some coal, having both of these unlocked only makes sense. Let's see what we need for explorer. Oh man, 100 modular frames. 100 rotors. Okay. Well, we'll in the episode here, I'll handcraft what we need to unlock the Explorer, and that's what we'll pick up the next episode. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the series. Leave any questions you have in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.